Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. Cheating and piracy have plagued video games for decades. Don't get me wrong, some cheat codes give extra life to video games, like infinite bullet time in Max Payne or DK mode in the old James Bond game. But gaining an unfair advantage or completely ripping off a game developer to play for free is an offence which deserves punishment. I'm not talking about court cases or boring legal jargon. This list is 11 times video game pirates and cheats were shamed and humiliated by the devs.
What would you do if you were freed? I'd go after the Kingslayer.
2011's The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings was estimated to have been pirated over 4 million times, leaving a huge hole in CD Projekt Red's revenue for the game. Instead of introducing DRM to control the use of the software, Projekt Red decided to do something a little bit more terrifying. As you know, The Witcher is filled with beautiful ladies to, impress and make out with. Of course, completely for finding your soulmate. Well, should you play a pirated version of The Witcher 2, all those beautiful females become haggard old ladies. What the heck is that? Making the scenes of love a little difficult to watch, especially after a meal. Unless you're into that kind of thing, of course, and who am I to put you down? Let's move on from granny love.
I love narcissism. My wife a talent, but there's a limit here.
GTA Online revolutionized how Rockstar made games and made ridiculous amounts of cash. People spend their real money or earn in-game cash to purchase upgrades. Buying highly desired vehicles with improved armor and horsepower keeps the players grinding and coming back every day. Well, back in 2015, cheaters found a way to bring a vehicle from the single-player game into the online world. This isn't just any vehicle. This beast is the Duke of Death. The two-door armor muscle car was completely overpowered in GTA Online, allowing players to grief others in the lobby and generally being unpleasant to everyone. As this pandemic spread, Rockstar blacklisted the car, but didn't patch the method to bring the Duke of Death into the online game. But the moment that vehicle was used, it would immediately set ablaze and explode. The griefers became the griefed. In 2017, the Duke of Death was legitimately added to the online portion of the game, but it was rebalanced to fit better within the world. H1Z1, the OG Battle Royale title, made it over to PS4 recently, but it's been around seemingly forever over on the PC. A few years back, the developers banned 30,000 cheaters who hacked themselves into godlike beings who could clip through walls, one-shot opponents, and ruin the game for legit players. Here's the brilliance of H1Z1's approach. They offered redemption. To get back on the game, those dirty cheats had to upload an apology to YouTube, which was then tweeted out by the developers to spread their shame. Those players who spent hundreds of dollars on in-game items took up this option in witty, remorseful, comedic, and downright emotional ways.
Cheating in H1Z1 has cost my friendship that I had valued deeply. Without H1Z1, I feel like there's a void in my life. I vow you that I will never cheat again in this game. Was such a fool to do it in the past, and I surely will never make that mistake again.
Most of the videos shared a notion that if they couldn't beat the cheaters, they'd join them. But thankfully, this approach scared away a huge amount of cheats, and we saw the true colours of those who genuinely wanted redemption for their actions.
I genuinely am sorry. I didn't think anything would happen by me just hacking once. Well, you were wrong. Sorry, you're very wrong.
Hello, old friend. Been a long time.
Speaking of redemption, Red Dead Redemption, the Wild West-inspired action-adventure and online shenanigan fest, had its own problems with cheaters back in 2010. Instead of opting to ban these users, their approach was to utilise the law and order from within the game.
My name's John Marston.
Throughout the entire campaign, and online too, the cheaters were constantly pursued by the sheriffs that would never ever go away, maiming the experience, torturing the players, and ripping the fun out of the game. Cheaters be warned.
Of all the things I've seen on the battlefields of the frontier, the pilot is the true dominant force.
Titanfall and Max Payne 3 used a similar way to murk those cheats and pirates. As aimbots and wall hacks became prevalent, both developers decided to put all cheats in the same server, keeping the real competitive lobbies free from dirty cheats. And most amusing, forcing all cheaters to understand how unpleasant it is to face hackers and cheats.
This is a moment in life where you will look back one day and say, I made a stand or I did nothing.
One of the most renowned examples of hacking was in an MMORPG, Guild Wars 2. Beginning life in 2012, the game grew rapidly. Almost as quickly as the game rose in popularity, the exploits of one player, Darkside, also became word of legend. Darkside was regularly reported for exploiting hacks in the game. Some gave him teleportation powers, others made him incredibly strong, and another gave him the ability to instantly revive if he were to fall in battle. Eventually, the developers got wind of the atrocities and decided to publicly ban the cheater. Their first step was to hack into his account. Step 2 involved removing all his items and stripping him down to his boxer shorts. Next, he was forced to climb to the top of a tower and flung his character to death, even giving a wave before his final moment. Immediately after this, the player was banned for life, but the tale of cheating and the consequences of cheating in Guild Wars 2 shall forever go down in history.
Line up! I'm offering free tickets to hell!
Anti-piracy protection evolved and a new approach was made by the developers of Serious Sam 3. For those that don't know, Serious Sam is a first-person shooter with blistering pace and frustratingly difficult enemies. This was made even harder for cheaters with the introduction of this guy. The Blood Red Scorpion is immortal and can attack the player anywhere in the game. Skating across the ground, it's impossible to escape and you will die multiple times. It was essentially Serious Sam's version of the Nemesis from Resident Evil, but he legitimately cannot be defeated. Those cheaters got used to seeing that game over screen.
When Paul came back, he took away the only person who could stop the end of time. My brother, Will.
Over on the Xbox, Quantum Break was released in early 2016. It's a sci-fi action shooter with a few puzzle elements thrown in. Of course, those cheaters found a way to pirate the game, but this time the developers didn't make the game unplayable to pirates. They instead attempted to target players who wanted to stream or post YouTube videos. Subtly, the main character would wear a new piece of headgear to symbolize their pirated copy of the game. None other than a pirate's eyepatch complete with skull and crossed swords. This follows on from Remedy's similar shaming tool in Alan Wake. Those YouTubers who uploaded videos with the eyepatch would instantly shame themselves, and their audience would probably disown them. Mobile gaming isn't let off the hook, as many handheld games have included devilish ways to troll cheaters and pirates. Over on the Nintendo DS version of Michael Jackson The Experience, you may be playing the game to experience the brilliance of MJ's music, but instead, you'll be hearing this. The dulcet tones of the Vuvuzela. In an interview, a Ubisoft representative revealed their unique ways to punish pirates by obscuring audio with the sound of the most annoying instrument in the world, the bloody Vuvuzela. Some people would say that improves MJ's music. I'm not one of those people. I quite like it. Another devilishly clever way to dethrone cheat kings was seen in Operation Flashpoint. The cheaters wouldn't even know it was happening, but over time, their weapons would respond a little differently. First, the accuracy of their weapons would reduce over time, and then the damage output would slowly lower too, making them ultimately cannon fodder and unable to progress in the game. Genius humiliation. And finally, let's look at the winged vigilante in Batman Arkham Asylum.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman!
This punishment was extremely sneaky and first allowed the cheaters to play as normal, enjoying the combat and other elements of the game. That was until they came across a room filled with gas. Usually the only way to get across is to use the iconic gadgets at Batman's disposal, in particular the Batcape, to glide above the poisonous gas. But here's where the cheaters became stuck. The Batcape wouldn't work in a pirated version of Arkham Asylum, making the game impossible to complete. This became even more amusing as players attempted to make impossible jumps to reach the other side. And when they finally gave up and asked the internet for help, they were met with this response. The problem you have encountered is a hook in the copy protection to catch out people who try and download cracked versions of the game for free. It's not a bug in the game's code, it's a bug in your moral code. Ouch. That has to hurt your pride. So that was it. There's 11 ways devious devs shamed and humiliated cheats and pirates. What did I miss? Do you know any other examples of punishment in video games? I would love to know them. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. It's been an absolute pleasure. I'll see you next time.